There's a moment that happens in every major gaming release where fans go absolutely insane trying to figure out details before the official announcement. But this time, it wasn't just speculation. This time, the community actually solved it. 2 months after the first GTA 6 trailer dropped, someone on a forum made a post that started the craziest investigation you've ever seen. They claimed they knew exactly who was voicing Lucia. Within hours, the post exploded. Within days, the entire community was convinced. And by the time the second trailer released, pretty much everyone agreed they'd figured out who Jason was too. The wild part, Rockstar has barely acknowledged any of this. But the evidence is so overwhelming that at this point, an official denial would be more shocking than a confirmation. This entire investigation started about a year ago when one user, on the GTA forums named Rebel Scum Leah, posted evidence that would change everything. They had found something that connected an actress to Lucia that was too coincidental to ignore. From there, the community started digging deeper, looking at voice lines, physical appearance, past work history, and interview clips. And the more they found, the more convinced everyone became. Now, Rockstar has a strict history of keeping their casting under wraps. Their actors are bound by NDAs so tight that they can't even tell their own families what they're working on. Roger Clark from Red Dead 2 and Ned Luke from GTA 5 have both talked about this in interviews. So you'd think the community would have zero chance of figuring this out. But that's the thing. Sometimes the clues are hidden in plain sight. And when you know what to look for, Rockstar's own secrecy becomes the biggest giveaway of all. Let's start with Lucia, because the evidence here is actually overwhelming. First, there's the obvious. Maniel Perez looks remarkably similar to Lucia. We're talking same eyebrows, same nose, same body structure, same height, even the same mole under her lip. It's uncanny how similar they are, but physical resemblance alone doesn't prove anything. You need more, and the community found it in her voice. You see, Manny has actually done voice work for Rockstar before. She recorded voice lines for an NPC in the casino heist update for GTA Online. And when users dug up those old voice files, they could finally hear her voice in a Rockstar game. Listen to this.
Betting is closed. Good luck. That's 15. A blackjack.
Now compare that to Lucia's voice.
Bad luck, I guess. The only way you're gonna get through this is by sticking together, being a team. Trust?
The similarities are undeniable. Same tone, same cadence, same delivery. It's her. But it doesn't stop there. The community also found interviews where Manny basically gives herself away without realizing it. There's this interview from March 27th, 2021, where she's asked about her current projects. And here's what she says.
What I'm doing right now, it's big, but NDAs. Man, I wish if I could, I would. But you know, I like making my monies, and and you know, they love NDAs. So
I totally understand. All right, so
they love NDAs. Think about that. She's working on something huge, something so big she literally can't talk about it. For a company that's obsessed with NDAs, the timing, the secrecy, it all lines up with GTA 6 development. Then there's another interview from more recently where things get really suspicious. She's asked directly about voice acting work in Grand Theft Auto. Watch how she responds.
On this Grand Theft Auto, and I was super excited to ask you that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, on your IMDb.
What does it say?
Then the interviewer clarifies he meant GTA 5, and suddenly she remembers.
Mm-hmm.
I see, when I do voiceover, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing and they just hand me a script. Was it a casino? Because I did do a voiceover for a casino.
But it doesn't make sense she wouldn't know since it was on her resume. Why would someone forget or deny voice work that they've publicly credited before? Because she's afraid of saying too much. Because she knows the community is close to figuring out she's Lucia. But we're not done. There are more coincidences that are too specific to ignore. First, Manny appeared on an episode of Law and Order, SVU. Now, that alone isn't unusual. But here's where it gets weird. Multiple Rockstar actors have appeared on that same show before landing major roles. And guess what? Roger Clark appeared on the exact same episode of Law and Order as Maniel Perez. Second, Manny stated in interviews,
Right now, I've been transitioning my career into voiceover and motion capture.
That's literally what GTA 6 requires. That's not a coincidence. That's a career move directly aligned with landing this role. Third, and this one's wild, she actually played a character named Lucia on the show East New York. Yes, Lucia is a common Latina name, so that's probably coincidence, but combined with everything else, it all points the same direction. Now let's talk about Jason. This one's trickier because there's been more speculation. Over the last 2 years, more than 20 different actors have been theorized to play Jason. But after trailer 2, the list narrowed down to 5 main candidates: Jake Silberman, Gregory Connors, Roger Craig Smith, Troy Baker, and Dylan Raw. But here's the thing, 3 of those actors, Jake Silberman, Troy Baker, and Roger Craig Smith, actually came out and denied being Jason. Now based on what we know about Rockstar Rockstar's NDAs, actors working on GTA 6 shouldn't be allowed to talk about their involvement at all, even to deny it. So when actors publicly deny it, it's probably because they actually aren't involved. That leaves two realistic candidates, Gregory Connors and Dylan Raw. Gregory has one major clue going for him. Back in April 2024, his resume listed to be determined lead role with Rockstar Games. Then it was removed. Then his entire resume went private. That's suspicious, but his looks and voice don't quite match Jason. So while he's a possibility, the evidence is weaker. Then there's Dylan Raw, and honestly, Dylan is who most of the community, including me, believes is Jason. Let's start with the obvious, his looks. From the leaks and trailers, we know Jason is 6'1", blonde hair, blue eyes, athletic build. Dylan Raw is exactly that. His facial structure might not be one-to-one, but remember, we've seen that before with other GTA characters. The similarities are there, but the real evidence is his voice. A forensic voice analyst in the community named CS Software actually did a professional analysis comparing Jason and Dylan's voice. The results were conclusive. They're as close as you can get without saying the exact same phrases. In fact, CS Software did the same analysis for Manny and Lucia, and Dylan's match to Jason was just as clear. Beyond voice, there's more. Back in 2019, right before GTA 6 would have started full development, Dylan's agency congratulated him on landing a role with a video game that he still hasn't been credited for. He's also listed professional mocap work on his resume, despite not being credited for any mocap projects. That's the GTA 6 production timeline right there. Now, I want to be honest about confidence levels here. With Manny as Lucia, I'm about 110% confident. The evidence is overwhelming. Past work with Rockstar, voice matches, physical resemblance, suspicious interviews, and her reaction to being exposed. With Dylan as Jason, I'm about 95% confident. It's not quite at Manny's level because there's no prior Rockstar work and no interviews to analyse, but the voice analysis is nearly as clear, and all the circumstantial evidence points directly to him. Out of everyone theorised, Dylan Raw is by far the most likely. And let me know in the comments, do you think Dylan Raw is Jason? Because honestly, at this point, I'd be shocked if it was anyone else.